Hi guys, in today's video I thought I would share with you a cool Easter hack. So stick around and let's get started. So guys, to start off this project you will need to get yourself a few foam bunnies along with some cement mix. Here I'm using quick dry cement mix which I got from my local hardware store. Next, I went ahead and put on my gloves on and then ran my fingers through my cement mix to make sure that there were no lumps in my cement before I went ahead and added water. Afterwards, I went ahead and started adding my water gradually till I got my desired consistency. So guys, at this stage, the desired consistency for your cement mix should be a bit of a runny consistency. The reason so, by having a runny consistency, you are able to apply your cement mix easily onto your foam bunnies. Once you're done with your mix, this is how a runny consistency should look like. Now my mix is all ready, but before I went ahead and started on my next step, I used a cooling rack to place my bunnies on. This way I was able to move my bunnies to a sunny place if I wanted it to dry quicker. Afterwards, I went ahead and took my foam bunnies and dipped them into my cement mix and made sure I covered them all over. Next, I went ahead and repeated this dipping process on all of my foam bunnies and my foam carrots and set it aside to dry. Afterwards, I went ahead and used a Easter egg silicone mold tray and filled it up with my remaining cement mix. Next, once I was done filling it all up, I then wiped it down clean and took off all of the excess cement mix, gave it a bit of a wiggle to release any air bubbles and set it aside to dry. 24 hours later, all of my foam products are dry and now the next step is to give it a bit of a sanding. Here I'm using an 80 grit sandpaper to give it a slight sanding. Once I was done, I used a damp rag and wiped them down clean. Next, I wanted to give my bunnies a bit of texture, so I decided to paint them using liquid stone. So guys, liquid stone is a paint that has pigments of sand in it. It gives texture to anything you paint on. So this paint was perfect for this project. I got this from my local hardware store. I gave all of my bunnies a generous coat of paint and set it aside to dry. Now my bunnies are all dry, but I still wanted these bunnies to have a bit of a stony look, so I decided to smudge some white paint on my bunnies to give that stone look. At this stage guys, you can entirely skip this smudging process if you all are happy with the plain look. I repeated this smudging process on all of my bunnies and set it aside to dry. Once my bunnies were dry, I decided to tie a bow on them. Here I'm using an Easter themed ribbon that says Happy Easter. At this stage guys, you could use any type of ribbon you already got in hand. Afterwards, I decided to wrap around some jute twine on my concrete carrots. Next, using my glue gun, I dabbed a little bit of glue onto my twine and wrapped it halfway through my carrot. I repeated this process on all three of my carrots. Afterwards, I decided to make a slightly elevated stand using terracotta saucers to place my bunnies on. Next, all I did was take two different sizes of terracotta saucers and afterwards, using my hot glue along with some Gorilla Glue, I glued them together as you can see. Next, once my stand was all dry, I decided to give it a whitewash finish. So guys, how I went about getting this effect was, I used a little bit of chalk paint which I've already got in hand that I diluted in water. Afterwards, I used a damp rag and dipped the rag into my paint and then brushed it onto my stand until I got my desired effect. I repeated this process in between dryings until I got my desired effect. Now our stand is done and now it's time to put it together using our bunnies. So guys, before we go ahead and start putting our bunnies onto our trays, I decided to use some artificial turf which I've already got in hand as the base of our tray. Next, I went ahead and traced my tray onto my turf and then cut it to size. Now my base is all done and it's time to start decorating using our bunnies. Next, I went ahead and used my largest bunny and placed it onto the center of my elevated tray. Afterwards, I placed the smaller bunny just next to it. Next, I decided to use some moss and some leaf cuttings which I've already got in hand to place it in between my bunnies to give it a woodsy look. Afterwards, to finish off this look, I went ahead and placed some Easter eggs which I made using my molds earlier. So guys, I went ahead and used the same decorating technique and used my other Easter bunny along with my carrots. So this is how my 4 concrete Easter bunny turned out, guys, and I'm so in love with them. These could be used as centerpieces on your dining table or even used individually as decorative pieces around your home. Hope you guys like it. Afterwards, I went ahead and used the terracotta pot which I've already got in hand that was painted in white to be used as a table name holder. Next, I used my Easter ribbon and tied a bow onto it. Afterwards, using the same artificial turf, I cut out a circle that fits my terracotta pot. Next, I went ahead and filled up my terracotta pot with some paper towels. Afterwards, I placed my cutout turf onto my terracotta pot. Now my pot is all ready and it's time to start decorating it. Next, I went ahead and placed my small bunny onto my pot. Afterwards, I used my moss and my leaf cutouts to decorate it. Next, I went ahead and placed my concrete egg, and then using some cork board which I've already got in hand, I cut out a tag so that I can write a name on it. This is how my tag looked once it was cut. Afterwards, I took a pen and wrote my name on it. Next, I placed it into my pot next to my bunny. So guys, now my table name holder is all done and this is how it turned out. Hope you guys like it.